Good morning students. Sairam. This is Megha Miss here, and today we are going to do revision part 2 of lesson number 4, measurement of matter. Part 1, I hope you all have went through it. Okay. Now starting with the concept you studied was Avogadro's number. Now what is students is Avogadro's number? The number of molecules in 1 mole of any substance is constant. Okay, so you have also studied the formula to calculate number of moles. You remember students, n is equal to, what was it? Mass of the substance upon molecular mass of that substance. Yes, so the number of molecules in 1 mole of any substance is constant. The Italian scientist Avogadro did fundamental work in this context. Therefore, this number is called Avogadro's number. As he has found out it, we called it as the Avogadro's number. It is indicated by the symbol Na. Okay. Experimentally, value of Avogadro's number is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. This is the experimental value. Everywhere it is used this only. Okay. Now, next you saw how to calculate the number of molecules which are present in a substance. Okay. Now here we will do one example. How many molecules of water are there in 36 gram of water? We have to find it out. Yes, so you know when such question is there, first what we find? N value. N means what? Number of moles. Okay student. So first what we need to find? Molecular mass of the substance. So here molecular mass of water is what? 18. How student it is 18? You know it is H2O. Yes, now in H2O mass of hydrogen is 1 but the atoms are 2. So 2 ones are 2. Oxygen it is 16. So 16 plus 2 is 18. So molecular mass of water is 18. Okay, then number of moles in given water. Okay, that is N value we have to find. So what we have done? Mass of water in grams divide by molecular mass of water. Yes, so what we have got? Mass of the water in gram. It is given in the question student. Is it given? Yes, 36. Divide by 18. Okay, how many moles we got? 2 moles. Okay students, did you understand this? How we got N value? Okay, now see here. Now, therefore, 1 mole of water. Now only we studied. Any substance, if it's 1 mole of that substance, how many molecules will be there? Avogadro's number. Yes. So see, 1 mole of water contains 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. Is this a Avogadro number? Yes. So now 1 mole is that many molecules. How many N we got now? How much N? 2 mole, right? So 2 mole of water contains, we have to multiply Avogadro's number with 2. So what is the answer we are getting students? 12.044 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. Okay students. So first what you will find? N value. Then what you will do? You will do a correlation here. If 1 mole contains Avogadro number of molecules, then so many, whatever N value you get, you will calculate for that. Okay, and you don't forget to write the final answer. Okay students, now you have MCQ type of questions. So directly you have to calculate and check which option is your correct answer. Okay, now see here. Next concept you studied, that was valency. Now the capacity of an element to combine is called its valency. Okay. The valency of an element is indicated by a specific number. Yes students, a specific number is there which will tell you the valency. It is the number of chemical bonds formed by one atom of that element with the other atoms. So how many bonds are formed, okay, by the atoms of different elements with each other? That is your valency. Okay, now see, the sodium atom has the capacity to give away 1 electron, while chlorine atom has the capacity to take up 1 electron. This means that the valency of both elements, sodium and chlorine, is 1. Okay, so sodium atom, you know what is the atomic number of sodium? 11. Yes, 1 electron is there in its outermost shell. Sodium can give away that one electron, and chlorine, it requires one electron to complete its octet. Yes, it is 17, right? So 7 electrons are remaining. Yes. So what it will do, chlorine? It takes that one electron. So what is happening, students, here? Sodium is giving one electron. So its valency is 1. Chlorine is accepting one electron. So also its valency is 1. Okay. So we say that valency of both the elements, sodium and chlorine, is 1. Okay. I hope you understood this. Yes. Now see here. From this, the electronic definition of valency is as follows. The number of electrons that an atom of an element gives away, okay, or takes up while forming an ionic bond. Which type of bond will form, students, while this give and take? Yes, ionic bond is called the valency of that element. Okay, students, will you remember this? The number of electrons that an atom of an element gives away. The electron can be given or it can be taken. Okay, to form which bonds? Ionic bonds, is called valency of that element. This is the electronic definition. Okay, students, did you understand this? Yes. Now, some elements that exhibit variable valency. We have seen some of the elements, they have the capacity to give different numbers of electrons. Yes, while forming the ionic bonds. Yes. Now, which are these? Copper is one example given. Mercury and iron. Yes. Copper, symbol is Cu. Valency, how many electrons? 1 and 2. So, it can give 1 electron, either 2. Okay. So, Cu plus can form, that is cuprous, and Cu2 plus can form, that is cupric. Okay. Mercury, Hg, 1 and 2. Okay. Hg plus or Hg2 plus can happen. Okay. If it is Hg plus, it is mercurous. If it is Hg2 plus, then it is mercuric. Then what is there, students? Iron. Iron, we write it as Fe, 2 and 3. Fe2 plus means iron can give 2 electrons. So Fe2 plus, that is ferrous, or iron can give 3 electrons, that is Fe3 plus, that is ferric. Okay, just I'll show you. Yes, this is ferric. Okay, so as the number of electrons are varying, the name of the compounds form are also varying. Okay, students, did you understand this? Okay, I hope you understood that this some elements can show the variable valency. Okay, students, now see here. Radicals. Now, what are these, student? Radicals? Compounds with ionic bonds have two constituents. Okay, these are cations and anions. They take part independently in a chemical reaction and are therefore called as radicals. Okay, students. So these are cations, that is positively charged ions, and a negatively charged ions. Okay. For example, what you studied the formation of? Yes, it is NaCl, right? So when I am taking this compound NaCl, are they made up of ionic bonds? Yes. Are they having a cation and an anion? Yes. Here Na plus I will write, which is a cation, and Cl minus I will write, which is a anion. Okay, student, and they take part independently in a chemical reaction, and therefore we call them as radicals. So this is my one radical, sodium, and this is my second radical, that is chloride ion. Okay, students, did you understand this? Yes. Now next we are going to see, that is the bases, such as NaOH, KOH are formed when various cationic radicals are paired with a different anionic radical, that is hydroxide. Okay, students. Now see here, what are the cationic? Means Na plus it is there. Yes, Na, this Na, it is in plus. This potassium is in plus. Okay, while this OH, are what? They are the hydroxide. OH means what? Hydroxide, and we write it as OH minus. How you write, student, it as OH minus. So we are calling them as anionic radical. Okay, so are they pairing with a Na plus? Yes, this is what? Na plus is the cationic radical. Are they pairing to form NaOH? Yes. So hence the cationic radicals are also called basic radicals. So what we call cationic radicals, we also call them as basic radicals. Okay, so did you understand this concept, students? I hope you understood. You will just remember cationic radicals, we also call them as basic radicals. Okay, now next we will see. Now, that is, different bases are distinguished from each other by basic radicals in them. Okay, how I can distinguish the bases? You have studied acids and bases are there. So how I can distinguish bases? By the basic radical which are present in them. Okay, on the other hand, different acids such as HCl, HBr are formed when different anionic radicals are paired with the cationic radical H plus. Yes, now here if you see, this is Cl minus, we write it as Cl minus, Br minus. Okay, and with whom it is attaching? It is attaching with H plus, which is a cationic radical. Yes, so therefore anionic radicals are called as acidic radicals. What we can call them as? Yes, HCl is an acid. Yes, HBr is also acidic. Okay, so we call them as the acidic radicals. Okay, students, the difference in the composition of various acids becomes clear from the acidic radicals present in them. Okay, so the acidic radicals which are present in them makes it very clear which type of acid it is. Okay, students, did you understand this? Okay, now we'll see the next one. Just a moment. Yes, generally basic radicals are formed by removal of electrons from the atoms of metals such as Na plus, Cu2 plus. Yes, these both are metals and they are giving away the electrons. Yes, and then they are getting a positive charge. Copper is giving 2 electrons, so I have written Cu2 plus. Na plus means sodium is going to give 1 electron. But there are some exceptions, also, such as NH4 plus. Okay, similarly the acidic radicals are formed by adding electrons to the atoms of non-metals. Yes, how the acidic radicals are formed? Adding the electrons, Cl minus, S2 minus. Okay, but there are some exceptions like MnO4 minus. Okay, remember the exceptions also and the elements also which are are formed by the addition of the electrons. Okay, students. Okay, did you understand this? Okay, now monoatomic radicals such as Na plus, Cu plus, Cl minus are called simple radicals. Why? Because they are giving or taking in only one electron. Okay, so mono means one, so only one electron if they are giving and taking, we call them as monoatomic radicals. Okay, when a radical is a group of atom carrying charges such as SO4 2 minus, NH4 plus, it is called as composite radical. What you will call them, student, as composite radical. Okay, the magnitude of charge on any radical is its valency. Okay, the magnitude of charge, whatever charge you write, that is the valency. Now Na plus if you write, so you know plus means what? Only plus means 1 electron. Yes, so what is the valency of sodium, students? 1. Okay, so that charge will tell you about the valency of that element. Okay, now then we studied how to deduce the molecular chemical formula, not molecular, chemical formula. Yes, and for deducing this chemical formula, what we are going to require, students? We are going to require the valencies. So I have told you, first 20 elements, please study its atomic number, please study their valencies. okay, and their symbols. Yes, now see here, I have given you example of potassium nitrate. Now we have to deduce its chemical formula. Okay, molecular formula also you can do, no problem to do that also. Okay, so we can deduce molecular formula also. Yes, molecular masses especially. Okay, this is your chemical formula. Molecular formula, molecular masses you can deduce. Yes, deduce. Now this is the step 1. Write the symbols of the radicals. What is our step 1? 4 steps we have to see. Okay, first step is write the symbols. I have written the symbol. It is K, potassium, and NO3 is nitrate. Okay, then write the valency below the respective radical. What is the valency of potassium? 1. What is the valency of nitro group? 1. Okay, then next, cross multiply. What we have to do? We have to cross multiply. Yes, as I cross multiply, what it will become? K into 1 and NO3 into 1. So what is my step 4? Write down the chemical formula of the compound. So I got the chemical formula as KNO3. Okay students, did you understand this? Okay, what are the 4 steps you will follow? Step 1, write the symbols of the radicals. Step 2, write the valency below the respective element. Step 3, cross multiply symbols of radicals with their respective valency. And step 4, write down the chemical formula of the compound. Okay students, now see here. Next is, we are going to see, observe the diagram and answer. What is the electronic configuration of aluminium from the given diagram beside? So from this diagram you are going to tell what is the electronic configuration of aluminium. Such question can come in your exam, as I have told you that you can have the question as observe the diagram and answer. Yes, so here diagram is given to you, aluminium. Okay, and you have to see what is its electronic configuration. Now what you will see students here? First you will see first shell, how many electrons are there? Yes, can you see how many electrons are there? This is 1 electron, this is your second electron. So 2. Okay, now in all 3 options, first number is 2. Okay, now we will see the second. You know, in the second shell how many electrons it should be? 8. So we will see, are they 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, they are. So do you think B option can come correct? Yes. And the third shell, 1, 2, 3. So my B option is the correct option. So what is the electronic configuration students? 2, 8, 3. Okay. Did you understand how the type of question can come? Okay. I hope you understood this. Yes. So thank you and all the best for your exam. Okay. I know you will do well in your exams. All will be MCQ type questions. You already know this. Okay students, don't be in a hurry. Read the question properly. Choose the correct option only. Okay. Thank you. Sai Ram.